that this forum will rise to the challenge in the interest of durable peace and sustainable development.
President Buhari at the global stage again links insecurity to underdevelopment. E-Naira and the prospects. Nigerians speak.
I think it's highly commendable. As a country, we should take pride in that particular feat.
Plus, security chiefs meet on Anambra poll. No time to take chances.
Instill confidence in the entire southeast, particularly in Anambra State, to make sure that nothing happens to those people who will come out to vote.
Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Ian Ray John. Michael Olaleye joins me from Lagos, while Gabriel Amunike will join us much later from Port Harcourt. We'll begin with the investment summit in Saudi Arabia, where President Muhammadu Buhari attributes insecurity in some parts of the globe to misplacement of projects in developing countries. He therefore challenged world leaders and potential investors to prioritize policies that will re-energize the global economy in a post-COVID-19 era. This was at the 5th edition of the Future Investment Summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Investing in humanity is investing in our collective survival.
Given Nigeria's perspective to investing in humanity, President Muhammadu Buhari was emphatic that humane approach to investments is the surest way towards addressing global challenges, especially in the COVID-19 era. He commended the organizers of the Future Investment Summit for the foresight to look at investment not only from the wealth creation point of view, but also bringing prosperity to humanity.
This is why we in Nigeria, we believe that public and private partnership should focus on increasing investments in health, education, capacity building, youth empowerment, gender equality, poverty eradication, climate change, and food security. We are quick to realize that long-term peace and stability of our country is dependent on having inclusive and humane policies.
The president is, however, reminding participants that without relieving debtor countries from the crushing effects of the debt burden, the objectives of getting the desired investment in humanity cannot be realized. These nations, he said, increasingly allocate substantial resources towards external debt servicing and repayment at the expense of services that contribute to the overall well-being of their population.
Nigeria is Africa's largest economy and most populous nation. Our economic reforms, which focus on humane investments, are ideal for investors looking to have profitable returns while positively impacting the citizenry. Infrastructure investment represents significant potential for investors in Nigeria. We have opportunities in seaports, rail, toll roads, real estate, renewable energy, and many others. We have created several institutions that are available to co-invest with you in Nigeria.
President Buhari used the opportunity to showcase Nigeria and her enormous potentials in critical economic sectors, especially in agriculture, mining, and ICT.
As we strive to build resilience towards a sustainable economy in our various countries, let us not forget the negative impact of climate change on our efforts to achieve this goal. Nigeria and many other countries in Africa are already facing the challenges posed by climate change. I hope and pray that this forum will rise to the challenge in the interest of durable peace and sustainable development.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, apart from humane approach to investment, the global community must also sustain efforts at combating the COVID-19 pandemic, mitigating its negative socio-economic impact on societies, building resilience, as well as achieving recovery. He suggested leveraging the enormous economic opportunities that lie ahead towards satisfying the needs of humanity and indeed the planet. From Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Back home, President Muhammadu Buhari, before departing Nigeria for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, unveiled Africa's first central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, a platform designed to deepen financial inclusion and simplify transactions and its complementary role to the paper note. This has, however, created lots of reactions from Nigerians. Let's join Bosade Ebo for the responses.
Nigeria has now set a standard for Africa in its financial system, being the first to launch a digital currency. Now operational, what are the prospects for the nation's payment system and the people?
I think it's highly commendable. As a country, we should take pride in that particular feat. It's a big one for us as a country, which is in line with global trends. And I'm also excited with the numbers we're hearing. It's going to grow the economy expectedly over the next 10 years by $29 billion, which is huge.
Personally, I think it's a very good policy, but the thing from the feelings we are getting, many people don't know much about it, so there is still room to engage people to get to know so that they will participate actively.
And again, so that we're not creating a product for very few people in the society. We're creating a product that will run across, because we have quite a number of people at the bottom of the pyramid who needs to be included.
Experts say the digital currency system would improve cross-border trade, enhance monetary policy, as well as the local and diaspora payments, among others, will take desired shape. Bosede Ebo, NTA News.
And away from the e-Naira, conversations at the just concluded 27th Nigerian Economic Summit have given credence to the national strategy on public service reforms, where the federal government is using information technology for change, innovation and effective service delivery for national development. Benny Adams has the details.
At the sidelines of conversations on urgency and audacity of public sector reform, driving change and accountability, the use of information and communications technology with the aim of improving information and service delivery, encouraging citizen participation in the decision-making process and making government more accountable, transparent and effective were brought to the fore.
There is no hiding place for anybody managing government resources at this time. We have done this. We have translated from due process in managing procurement to online procurement. You can sit down from the comfort of your house and pay your tax, collect your tax clearance certificates. This is digitalization. We have agencies of government that are rendering some of the best services in the world now.
Because of the view that to build on successes being recorded in public finance management and other reforms in the public sector, the need to support the e-governance master plan of the federal government becomes urgent. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says when media practitioners compromise their professional ethics, they lose the ability to hold public office holders accountable for governance. The minister stated this at the Nigerian Economic Summit. Anthony Forsen reports.
The truth of the matter is that
the Information and Culture Minister making his submission as one of the panelists discussing the topic, the Fourth Estate holding power accountable. The topic, the organizers say, has become necessary as Nigeria embarks on its quest for a sustained economic development through its medium and long-term national development plans. To this end, the minister called for a proper understanding of governance by journalists as a strong weapon to hold government accountable.
You see, if you want to hold me accountable, please understand me first. Now, for instance, I've seen many figures being bandied, saying that, oh, this is what UNESCO or UNESCO says 10% of the budget must be dedicated to education. Nigeria is only dedicating 3% and things like that. But the truth of the matter is that the budget of the federal government does not represent the budget of Nigeria. And this is where it pains me that the media, year in, year out, are repeating the same mistake.
The minister's submission also touched on the dangers of fake news.
The truth of the matter is that we're not talking about neutral, we're not talking about bias, we're talking about fake news. It's more serious than we think it is. The danger about fake news is that people are gullible and people believe them. And fake news is not just about Lai Mohammed. Fake news is about the polity, it's about our economy.
Other members of the panel called for the need to have well-trained journalists to be able to understand the dynamics of governance and power. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In other news, business editors and members of the Finance Correspondents Association of Nigeria, FICAN, have gathered in Gombe for the 18th edition of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation Interactive Session. Talatu Laman reports.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, was set up over 3 decades ago as part of the economic reform measures to strengthen the safety net for the banking sector in Nigeria. The agency protects depositors and guarantees settlements of insured funds, as well as maintain financial system stability through bank supervision, among other mandates. To reposition the operations of the NDIC in response to the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, critical stakeholders gathered to chart a way for a well-informed reportage and sensitization of the mandates of the corporation.
All we need to do is to sensitize the banking public so that they can be aware that such documents exist, so that they are not unduly overcharged by the banks.
With the theme, enduring extreme disruptions, resilience and reinvention for banking system stability and deposit insurance, experts say it is an appropriate strategy that is required to build resilient financial system in the nation.
The knowledge you have that helps you or will help you to position yourself for today, tomorrow, and the future.
The intent, of course, is for them to enhance their capabilities for a better reportage in financial and banking matters, so that the citizenry and the banking public will be better informed.
Facilitators and participants were drawn from the Central Bank of Nigeria, other financial institutions and media organizations in Nigeria. In Gombe, Talatu Lamon, NTA News.
Now time for business news with Benny Adams.
Henry, thank you, and welcome to Business. In a bid to hasten industrialization of the rural economy, the Small and Medium Enterprises Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, under its One Local Government, One Product initiative, has so far covered 364 local government areas across the country. The signing of agreements between the agency and 6 microfinance banks from Rivers, Edo, Plateau, Kaduna, Imo, and Borno states is to aid the planned coverage of another 212 local governments in 2021, with the remaining 198 to be covered in 2022 by disbursing funds and at the same time at when due.
For local governments and promoting one cooperative in each of the local governments. And by the year 2023, we will go back to the second cycle of the project. We have so far awarded some cooperatives with more funds because of their outstanding performance.
SMEDAN says the benefiting cooperative groups enjoy 30% working capital as grants from the federal government, while 70% is loan to be repaid. And the implementation of international public sector accounting standards through credible financial reports will promote efficient decision-making by those charged with governance, boost perception index of the country, and attract investment needed for economic growth. Executive Secretary of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Ambassador Shuaibu Ahmed, stated this at a two-day National Learning and Development Program on accounting and financial reporting in the public sector, organized in collaboration with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation.
A total of 115 public sector entities comprising of government parastatals, government agencies, and government business entities have filed their annual financial statements with the Financial Reporting Council. This is a very significant progress. For those who have not filed, we have begun imposing fines and penalties on them.
Ahmed said the council is faced with challenges of late submission of financial reports by MDAs, lack of proper treatment of accounting issues, and poor disclosures, among other challenges, of which the program is designed to address. And now on tax matters, the appeal have instituted the South African company MultiChoice Africa Holdings for lack of diligent prosecution and ordered it to pay up the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, $342 million tax assessment. The tribunal, while delivering its judgment on the appeal filed by the company, upheld the preliminary objection of the FIRS against the appeal of MultiChoice Africa Holdings. The tribunal stated that the South African company did not comply with Order 3, Rule 6 of the Tax Appeal Tribunal Procedure Rules 2021, which requires that an appellant is to deposit half of the assessed amount it is disputing before it can be heard on appeal. In addition to depositing the sum, the appellant is required to file along with its appeal an affidavit verifying the payment, which the company also failed to comply with. FIRS had served a notice of unpaid VAT on MultiChoice Africa Holdings, but the company challenged the assessment and filed an appeal at the tribunal. And lastly, the capital market, the all-share index appreciated on a neutral lane as market closed 41,814.94 basis points, while equity capitalization is 21.8 trillion naira. 353.2 million shares valued at 5.5 billion naira exchanged hands in 5,322 deals, with FBNH and Guarantee Co. and the Universal Insurance-led market gains. That is business news. Network news continues after this break.
Where is your brother? He's not here? He's not here? He's not here? I don't know where he is.
Are you ready for the world's biggest breakdance competition? Enter Globe Battle of the Year Nigeria and win mega millions in prize money. Globe Battle of the Year Nigeria is here.
The House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ad Hoc Committee to investigate the operations of real estate developers in FCT, Abuja, invites the general public to a one-day public hearing with key stakeholders on Thursday, October 28, 2021, by 10 a.m. at the House of Representatives Conference Room 043. Please note, the public hearing will be conducted in line with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, COVID-19 guidelines. For further inquiries, please contact the clerk on 081-6066-9019 or 091-2463-3817. Announcer, Honorable Blessing Onyeche Onu, Chairman.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. No cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
The National Universities Commission invites you to the formal launch of the Sustainable Procurement, Environmental and Social Standard Enhancement Project, a collaborative effort of the federal government of Nigeria with support from the World Bank geared towards developing sustainable capacity in managing procurement, environmental and social standard in both private and public sectors. The project will be formally launched by Vice President Professor Yemi Osibajo, GCON. Date, October 28, 2021. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Venue, Idris Abdulkadir Auditorium, NUC, Abuja. The event is strictly by invitation, as COVID-19 protocol will be strictly adhered to. The general public can participate via the Zoom link below. Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, announcer.
Once upon a time, an idea was born. It grew into one institution with a master plan. Since 1989, IBTC has evolved to become Stanbic IBTC, setting the base as one of the first holding companies in Nigeria. Over the years, we've expanded beyond banking to owning formidable business subsidiaries across 10 industries, all backed up with AAA Fitch rating. With over 4,000 employees, our presence across the country is further strengthened by our efficient network of digital channels. Our dedication to the Nigerian dream has granted us recognition 44 times by 18 awarding bodies in 6 sectors. We are proud to be champions of exponential trade finance through our partnership with the largest bank in the world, facilitated across 22 sectors. Nigeria is our home, and we are committed to driving her growth. So whatever your dream is, we believe it can be.
What's your beautiful? My essence and my energy.
My natural glow and my confidence.
My freshness and fierceness.
My beautiful is being me.
Reveal your beautiful this beauty month with amazing discounts of up to 33% off select Nivea products in participating stores near you. Nivea, be you, be beautiful.
Scary, isn't it? Putting yourself out there, ignoring the voices telling you you can't. Will you step aside, or will you go for it? After all, what's the worst that could happen? So, keep trying. Don't stop. Believe in yourself and go for it. Aladana, available in many variants to nourish you every step of the way.
Thank you for staying. And back to the investment summit ongoing in Saudi Arabia, members of the Nigerian delegation have been speaking on the tremendous benefits the nation can derive from its strong participation at the Future Investment Summit. Speaking to newsmen in Riyadh on the sidelines of the event, the delegates promised to leverage on President Buhari's enormous international network with key partners towards unlocking the nation's potentials for greatness. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo brings us details.
The delegates, comprising movers and shakers of the nation's economy, are in Riyadh to mingle and network in support of President Buhari's economic diversification drive towards achieving sustainable growth trajectory for Nigeria. The president's address to participants, they say, provided the desired impetus in marketing Nigeria and the enormous potentials that abound to be explored and exploited.
Mr. President's address, I think, will galvanize quite a lot of people that do not understand, Nigeria. Now I'm sure they will. There are opportunities and, there are a lot of potentials, in Nigeria, and we're making efforts to ensure that we get a lot of investments into Nigeria.
The President covered all the areas regarding Nigeria's drive for diversification, its actions in combating security and creating an enabling environment for business and investment. And it was a very well-received speech by the members at the conference.
And Mr. President has really did market Nigeria extremely very well, mention all the achievements of the government. Apart from that, all areas where people can go and invest in terms of solid minerals, in terms of agriculture, the population, the size of Nigeria's economy, I think Mr. President has actually done a great job.
And I was quite impressed with the roll call of successes that he was able to capture and relay to the audience. Nobody builds anything alone, and perhaps the money we need to deliver on the infrastructure gap in Nigeria is not going to come from Nigeria. So it's absolutely critical that we're sitting here with the right people, getting our place at the table to make sure that we're able to really build out the investment pipeline that we need.
While expressing absolute confidence in the ability of Nigeria to drive maximum benefits from the summit, the business and economy leaders believe that the recent launch of the e-Naira was not only timely but well thought out.
Any system that can pull our resources together and digitalize our currency and ensure that it's easier for people to move money around means goods and services also get to move faster around the economy, which means economic growth.
We have confidence in Nigeria. It is not government's job to create jobs. Government is to give us the conducive environment to invest. And since they have done that, we need to make sure that, yes, we partner with the government and, put in our own money and take the risk.
Anybody wishing to do business in Africa must first do business with Nigeria, because if you don't do business in Nigeria, you're not doing business in Africa. So we believe that we should come out here. It's an international forum. We should let the world know the Nigerian story.
Mr. President has laid the foundation, calling for investors to come to Nigeria. The petroleum sector especially is very ready for investors now. Already there are a lot of interest that is being shown by even companies that are already inside Nigeria. I mean, all the IOCs are willing to invest more in the country. And for me, that is actually a vote of confidence. That is what we really wanted.
When 5G is deployed, it is going to open many opportunities in all other sectors, in health, in education, in tourism, in agriculture, in all other sectors, in petroleum, in industry, in trade, and in many more.
More than 2,000 missions and 5,000 company leaders, policymakers, investors, and innovators from across the world are participating at the 3-day event themed Invest in Humanity. From Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And on the Nigerian Economic Summit, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has expressed optimism that Nigeria will be a great nation with the policies put in place by the federal government. The Vice President said this at the closing of this year's Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja. State House correspondent Didi Onifade reports.
It is time for a conversation with the Vice President at the 27th edition of the National Economic Summit. The conversation is on visualizing a Nigeria of the future.
How can we, as a nation, go into that rarefied space of double-digit economic growth?
Key issues that I think we should look at. First, the very notion of a productive economy. An economy that is focused on productivity.
For exactly an hour, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo answers questions in the areas of political economy, sustained economic growth, digital transformation, quality of life, and opportunities in Nigeria.
Theme for me is the whole question of an economy that focuses on value addition.
Vice President Osinbajo speaks on the need for relevant education for young Nigerians and adequate training for teachers, making good health care a priority and focus on value addition. On the question of zero emission in mitigating the effect of climate change, the Vice President reiterates his call for a fair and just deal for Africa.
We can see that there is, there's a will to do things, there's energy, there is, resilience, resourcefulness. So my take is that this country is one that is waiting to happen, and it will happen, and it will take all our resources and all of our own, all of our effort to make it happen, and it will happen.
And describing the youth as the greatest asset of the country, Vice President Osinbajo says it is of utmost importance to create an environment for them to function and have easy access to funds.
Before drawing the curtains on the summit, Vice President Osinbajo also witnessed the signing of an MOU between the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation and the Aniagolu Foundation on the implementation of an enterprise content management system. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And away from the summit, the travails and resilience of displaced people of Borno State, Nigeria, were highlighted in the documentary premiered in Abuja by the European Union. EU head of delegation and ambassador to Nigeria, Samuela Isopi, believes the documentary entitled Hope will create more awareness on the plight of the Borno people and the humanitarian interventions of the EU since 2014. Charles Alpha reports.
Shot in one of the Borno State's volatile towns, Bama, a town of over 250,000 inhabitants, Hope is a documentary on the ravaging effects of insurgency on the displaced populations in northern Nigeria. Hope followed the steps of an 11-year-old girl, Mariam Ibrahim, whose father was killed when Bama was taken over by insurgents in 2014.
Boko Haram go to our village, kill many people, and we leave the village, come to Maiduguri. Everywhere now is peaceful.
The documentary seeks to create awareness and build a bridge of empathy while highlighting EU's interventions in several humanitarian crises in a bid to build the Northeast while easing the plight of the people.
Shooting a documentary like this wasn't an easy task because it involved a lot of security arrangement. It involves traveling even to the areas where it is called the theater of war.
What struck me really is the courage of these people, the courage of after what they've been through.
Samuela Isopi, head of the EU delegation and ambassador to Nigeria, performed her first major diplomatic assignment when she officially presented the documentary to the public in Abuja.
Despite all the challenges, there is always hope. Hope for a better future. Regions in the Northeast and the population that are suffering from insurgency will very much remain at the center of our attention and at the heart of the support that the European Union will provide in the future.
Between 2014 and now, the EU said it has spent well over 345 million euros in providing basic needs. The documentary was funded by the European Union and produced by Fact Story. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Let's join Michael in Lagos for more reports.
Thank you, Yeri. Nigerian women have the potential to change the narrative of leadership, as well as revamping the nation's economy if given a chance to occupy the highest political office in the country. The governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, stated this at this year's National Women's Conference in Lagos. Musa Tolia completes the reports.
Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu told participants at the National Women's Conference that there is need for a paradigm shift in political leadership to explore the potentials of women who are capable of sanitizing the political space to provide exemplary leadership.
We have few women among us, things will have been better. Don't leave politics to men alone.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu urged women to assert themselves as enablers and catalysts for national cohesion and development. He, however, enjoined them to get vaccinated and continue to uphold the non-pharmaceutical protocols of COVID-19.
The charge out here today is for you to be a lot more resilient, to be aware of your environment, to have a new approach to doing things.
It's time to assert ourselves and contribute positively to our society.
The First Lady, Aisha Buhari, who was represented, advised women to support their husbands to come up with policies to promote good governance.
I'm therefore confident that the intellectual discourse resulting from this conference will positively impact on the lives of Lagosians and Nigeria in general.
The 3-day annual National Women's Conference is 21st in series, and it has the theme Awake in Lagos. Musa Toliat, NTA News.
In furtherance of its mandate of promoting and propagating the African values, the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, is adopting human capacity development as a tool for preserving vital elements of the African culture. The Director General of the center is optimistic the training will change the fortune of young people. The simple notion that a woman changes her hairstyle for an average of 150 times in a lifetime was enough to inspire Angela Eyakosi to start a trade in braided wig. Today, she is not just established in the business, but has directly trained 2,500 people with over 200,000 benefiting across the value chain.
There's a market, there's a gold mine that we're sitting on as African people, especially women.
With the mandate to position various elements of culture to solve socio-economic challenges of African people, CBAC is using a similar platform to recreate a new form of expression beneficial to the black race.
African hairdo, art and bead making are all means through which we recreate and celebrate our historical past.
Startup kits and scholarship were given to participants to fast-track their development. The Zulu tribal dance also set the tune for a symposium on Black and African people, resurgent racism, and the challenges of development in the 21st century, globalization, and the upsurge in identity consciousness.
Intentionally, we must teach our children our language.
Don't let anybody define you.
At the end of the workshop, the consensus is that skill acquisition done around preserving the African culture and basic knowledge on the history of the African continent must be included in school curriculum. This is NTA Network News. More reports after this break. Please stay.
Glow Breakator Plus Plus is here, and every day is now Christmas. Existing Glow customers will get 400% bonus on every recharge and 100 MB data bonus on first recharge of the month. New customers will get an unmatched 1,000 Naira welcome bonus. To activate, buy a new Glow SIM today or dial *777# for existing Glow customers.
The family of Iweka of Uoha village in Onwa East LGA of Edo State invites you to the funeral ceremony of our dearly beloved father, husband, uncle, grandfather, and great-grandfather, late Pa Charles Uzojare Iweka, aged 87. Funeral arrangement, Thursday 28 October. Body leaves mortuary to his hometown, number 3, Upper Ivioho Quarters, Uoha, Onwa East Local Government Area. Vigil Mass, same day and venue, 6 p.m. Social wake keep 9 p.m. till dawn. Friday 29th October, funeral mass at the Brendan Catholic Church, Uoha, time 10 a.m. Interment follows immediately at his residence. Entertainment and reception holds on Saturday by 12 noon. Sunday 31st, Thanksgiving service at St. Brendan Catholic Church, Uoha, time 10 a.m. Dr. Kate Onoja, CEO, Grabo Fertility Clinic, for the family announcer.
Glad to have you back. Nigeria's Security High Command is making critical appraisal of its apparatus ahead of a peaceful conduct of Anambra's 6th November poll. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this time around, the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mogano, is strategizing with service chiefs and Inspector General of Police to ensure there is no breach of public order.
In less than 2 weeks to Anambra poll, top security brass in the country are meeting to review measures against growing threats to peace and stability of the state. The business of this high-powered security engagement is to warn mischief makers to steer clear and allow Anambra citizens to exercise their franchise without intimidation.
Ours is to instill confidence in the entire Southeast, particularly in Anambra State, to make sure that nothing happens to those people who will come out to vote.
The National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungono, says the role of the military is to provide second-layer support and task them to be professional.
They must make sure that they do not allow themselves to be provoked, while of course we've made them to understand that they owe themselves also a responsibility to stay alive.
We want to assure you that the election will hold. Government is ready to provide security for those who are law-abiding to go about their lawful businesses.
The General Security Appraiser is coming after a series of engagement to strategize towards achieving a hitch-free, credible and transparent election that will reflect the popular will of the people. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkalibaba, has overhauled the security landscape in Anambra State ahead of the November 6th governorship election. Francis Form reports.
A statement by the force indicates that the overhauling includes the deployment of Deputy Inspector General of Police Joseph Egbunike. DIG Egbunike is to be assisted by the DIG in charge of operations, Acting DIG Zaki Ahmed. Other strategic commanders deployed to the state includes 5 Assistant Inspectors General of Police, 14 Commissioners of Police, 31 Deputy Commissioners of Police, and 48 Assistant Commissioners of Police. The statement further explains that the senior officers are to coordinate human and other operational deployments in the 3 senatorial districts, 21 local government areas, and 5,720 polling units in the state. Meanwhile, the IGP calls on citizens in Anambra State to come out in mass and exercise their franchise, as adequate security has been put in place to protect them before, during and after the election. Franks is from NTA News.
And still on the Anambra poll, as part of preparations towards ensuring a smooth conduct of the forthcoming Anambra governorship election, the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Bubuyi Oyeyemi, has ordered operatives of the Corps deployed to cover the election to ensure effective collaboration with the Nigerian police force and other security agencies in the enforcement of restrictions on vehicular movement. The Corps operatives deployed to cover the election have equally been mandated to clear obstructions from the roads, carry out rescue operations in case of emergencies, and maintain orderliness in polling booths to ensure that the Corps plays effective role in the elections. The Corps Marshal has directed the deployment of adequate number of personnel of the Corps and vehicles, including tow trucks, ambulances to strengthen enforcement of restrictions during the entire process of the election. In other news, the Nigerian Television Authority has again received a pat on the back from the House of Representatives for judicious management of resources as evident in its budget performance for 2021. It was at an appearance before the House Committee on Information for Budget Appraisal and Projection. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali reports.
As the Farmers Public Television Broadcast Media for Nigeria, the committee says NTA has been efficient in service delivery.
DG NTA, good presentation. I also want to congratulate you on your budget performance 2021, because if we look at it very well, you perform all round.
NTA has the best hands in this country, and I can tell you that almost all the stations, almost all the television centers in this country, most of their staffs are from NTA.
The chairman of the committee, Segun Odebumi, used the opportunity to urge government-owned information dissemination outfits to do more on youth development.
If you consider what is really going on in the country right now, every agency needs to contribute a lot in developing our youth.
The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, appreciated the effort of the committee in its passion for adequate funding, stressing that this would enhance the digitization process.
We have competition among other issues. The competition, for example, not every part of NTA is digitized, So, for example, you have a digital camera, you go out with a digital camera. You bring in pictures using a digital camera. Then in the process of transmission, you transmit using analog equipment. So at the end of the day, the pictures are not as bad as they should be.
Other organizations, as the Budget's Defense, also highlighted challenges in their operations due to paucity of funds.
We are facing the same challenges of equipment being viewed as government-owned media houses that that we are expected to give free coverage despite some of the costs that we have to bear.
If our agency is well funded and we are able to live up to the expectation, we will create more jobs.
We have 813 offices around the country. We cannot even say that any of our state offices receives as minimum as 10,000 naira a month.
The committee will soon go on oversight for physical and other assessments of the various agencies. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now time to join Gabriel in Port Harcourt for more news.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The Senate Committee on Army says it will support adequate budgetary provision for the Nigerian Army as a way to encourage the military to respond efficiently to various security threats in the country. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The committee is in Rivers State on a working visit to 6th Division Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt. The Senate Committee is to evaluate the level of performance of the Nigerian Army from 2019 to date. This is in preparation for the 2022 budgetary provision.
The Army of today needs to be encouraged because they are facing, for us, the challenges that has bedeviled the nation. And so far, we are highly impressed with their performance.
The senators also advised the Nigerian military to exercise caution and apply the rules of engagement in its internal security interventions. GOC, 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Sani Mohammed, sees the visit as important as it provides the platform to see the impact of government investment in the Nigerian Army.
So across divisions, the organ which covers all the troops are working in collaboration with other security agencies, and this has assisted us greatly maintaining the relative peace that we are enjoying now.
The senators visited Baabi community in Kana local government area of Rivers State, where the Nigerian Army is funding a water project. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo says Defense Headquarters is committed to increase local manufacturing of military hardware to help in the fight against criminality in the country. Again, Kingsley Amajiri reports.
These 4 semi-ballistic armored gunboats were locally manufactured by the Nigerian Navy Shipyard Limited. It is a project awarded by the Defense Headquarters to properly equip the Nigerian Navy towards responding effectively to security threats in the Niger Delta region. The key objective is to ensure peace within the region's waterways and in turn create the right environment for economic activities to thrive.
The construction of these platforms and subsequent induction into the maritime assets of the Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Center will bolster the operational capacity of the Joint Task Force in the Niger Delta area.
So I believe that what this would do will translate to enhanced security within the maritime domain.
The Nigerian Navy said with the right investment, it has the capacity and the technology to develop and build military hardware that will help the Nigerian defense in its fight against criminality, especially within the Niger Delta region. The Nigerian Navy Engineering Company has been instrumental in the provisions of platforms and military hardwares in the fight against criminality and insecurity in the country. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
That's our beat from Port Harcourt. Network News continues after the break.
Critical elements of Electoral Act, the development in party politics, and the issues of electoral guidelines is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
History is history, so either you know it or you don't.
My advice to the younger generation is that they should learn from what we have started and what we have left.
I did things that ordinarily I should not have been doing. What that meant was that I was working hard.
Whatever assignment you are given in life, put in your best.
The military years were a disaster.
Smoldering effects of all that is what we are trying to cure.
Me and you, let's get to Ghana. Hey! Right, jump.
This is Ghana. You've come here to seek for greener pastures. Make it your worthwhile.
Any guinea fowl you see, say Guinea. Guinea fowl has nothing to do with Guinea. It's just the name of the fowl. So Ghana tell us what? Is it Nigerian beans?
What?
Have we made before?
No.
Jasper! Help me!
Let's have a bit of sports now with Tamara Ibiwe.
Thank you, Ian Ray. Welcome to Sports Update. Youth and Sports Minister Sunday Dare has commended Team Nigeria cyclists for qualifying and participating at the just concluded International Cycling Union UCI World Track Championships held in France. The minister stated this when he hosted 4 female cyclists led by Federation President Jean-Dominique Massari after their arrival from France Tuesday.
What I've not really seen before in other races that I used to go, I saw them there, which I don't just have to look at them, I have to learn from what I'm seeing.
The experience there will really push us a lot to do more better in another race to come.
To golf now, the IBB International Golf and Country Club captain Emmanuel Anosike and former lady captain Julie Acholonu have emerged overall winners of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria Golf Tournament, played to celebrate older persons in the country. Anosike shot 35 nets with a combined gross score of 43, while Acholonu netted 37 with a 51 gross on 14 holes. The celebration is key to raise awareness on the challenges of population aging.
We've done a couple of things. We have played a football match for older persons. We've gone to a rural area to distribute things to older persons. We've had a rally creating awareness of the issues of older persons.
We have to make it now a club event. Every month we must have a day where the aged will come and play golf and enjoy themselves.
Ideas of different courses, and I applied it, and it was a walkover.
And that's Sports Update. Mary, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Tamara. And that concludes Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Please remember that rape is a crime. Do your part and let's put an end to it. I'm Henry John. Good night.